been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony back with another episode of the One Hell of Life Outdoor Podcast. And today we got on a second-time guest now, Jared Droze. He's been running all over chasing turkeys, and y'all may have heard him the first time he was on the podcast about a year ago. But, Jared, thank you for taking the time to come back on, man.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, after our last podcast, honestly, if you're listening to this, you should go back and listen to the last one because it was a great time. And Jared got into a lot of his story and just a lot of good funny stories too.
I think that after you listen to this podcast, you'll want to go listen to it.
Yeah,
I predict a good time
for sure, man.
Oh, man.
Well, hey, man. So you got this turkey tour thing going on, and for people that don't know you or what you do, can you kind of give a little background on like Wicked Killer, your YouTube channel and all that good stuff?
So basically our Wicked Killer calls, that's my call company. Basically that sponsors our YouTube channel to allow us to travel and hunt and film and the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is actually like, this is a new company. So this is like our second year getting our turkey calls into people's hands, and it's a cutthroat industry. Don't nobody want to tell you anything. So you got to learn a lot of it on your own. So it's been a lot of trial and error. Mm-hmm. But the mouth calls that I'm making now, and I'm not just saying this because I'm making them, things speak pure turkey. They can't take it. I mean, everybody that's bought our calls and used our calls, I mean, it's nothing but positive feedback the whole way around. So it's really good doing with the call company, and social media has been really good to me too through all that.
That's awesome, man. I'm sure it's got to be real gratifying to be like, I figured out this call myself, the way you got to cut that and however you put that, the calls together.
Oh, it's definitely want to pull your hair out while you're in the middle of trying to make a new cut somehow.
Is it like Thomas Edison with the light bulb? There's 1,000 different ways before he got it right.
That's right. That new one we just come out with called the side piece. Now that's one of our better sellers.
The side piece. That's funny, man.
Yeah.
I love it. So kind of, you know what I'm curious about, man, and maybe I'm diving in too deep right off the top, but dude, where did you pick up the art of doing this? Is this something that was passed on to you? Kind of go back into the history.
I'm a first generation. So
wow.
I made my first duck call when I was 12 with a hammer and a chisel on my back porch.
Wow.
That's cool. Do you still have it?
Yeah, I do still have it.
That's awesome.
I made a video on it. It looks kind of like a bowl. And so then I got a lathe for Christmas, and I started turning duck calls on the lathe, and they looked horrible, man. I mean, it was bad. And, everybody was supportive though. They're like, "Oh my God, it looks good." Yeah. Dude, they'll look back at it now, and they were trash. And so I kind of died away from the call company there for a while, and then the boys brought it to my attention. They're like, "Hey man, why don't you just start making calls again?" I was doing custom work. Somebody wanted to call for a present or something, I'd make it one out of. I moved away from wood and did all acrylic because like a lot of the old call company makers, they're like, "You need to do wood. You need to do wood." Well, I said, man, wood's kind of like a dying thing. I was like, this new younger generation that I'm targeting, they want the nice shiny acrylic. It's a different generation that I'm targeting than what y'all are targeting.
Yeah,
right.
And then they're like, well, you should still make wood, whatever. But started making calls again, and we started out with the duck calls. And I look back at it now, when I first started, them calls were like trash too. And that was a year ago. And I got to making them, and I made a prototype and for custom work. Somebody mentioned me on Instagram before I changed the name of the call company from Mill Pond Calls to Wicked Killer. And they wanted like a cut down body style, but they wanted something different. So I cut them a call out. And I had it on my lanyard in a video, and they're like, "We want you to make that call." So we started turning those calls out. Well, then somebody said you should start making the alcohol calls. So now we got the calls that's got the Bush Light, the Twisted Tea, the Crown Royal, all that inside of the barrel.
That's awesome.
So, you know, at them shows, them boys at the end of the show, they're about right, you know. And they come walking through there with their buddies, and they're like, "Oh my God, look at that thing!"
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm drinking.
Yeah, he's like, "I gotta have that. I might not ever use it, but I'm gonna put it somewhere."
Yeah, that's smart, dude. Because it's almost like if they don't duck hunt with it, it's kind of like a novelty thing.
Yeah.
That's right. I said, "Man, I don't care what you do with it, as long as you buy it."
Yeah, as long as you buy it, that's between you.
That's on you.
That's right. Hang it from your rearview mirror if you want to.
That's right.
That's funny, man. How have y'all been doing at shows? I know it's not really show season now, but we follow you year round and see you run all over.
Them things are amazing. I love the shows.
Yeah,
because you get to meet so many people, man.
Yeah.
You know, you can talk to them through the phone screen or whatever, but when you get there and you can't really know somebody's personality through a phone screen. You know what I'm saying? You can be putting on a front or whatever.
Williamson Outfitters, located along the beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida, is a premier guide service with lodging that provides incredible coastal duck hunting, gator hunting, fishing, gigging, scalping, and custom boat tours along Florida's forgotten coast. They are family-owned and operated with over 200 years of combined experience hunting and fishing along this incredible stretch of Florida. On a coastal duck hunt, you have an incredible chance at rare species like redheads, bluebills, buffleheads, fully plumed blue-winged teal, mottled ducks, whistling ducks, and several other species. The inshore bite is hot right now along Florida's forgotten coast. If you're planning a visit to the Florida Panhandle, call Williamson Outfitters to book a fishing trip right away. Targeted species include redfish, tripletail, trout, flounder, and more. Spots are filling up fast, so book today. Call or text 850-251-8650 or visit www.floridaducks.com.
But I am who I am, you know. So when they come out there to the shows, they're like, "Oh, you're really who you say you are," and I'm like, "Yeah." And then so you know, like say a kid follows me on TikTok or something, and they'll run up to me and be like, "Oh man, I follow you." I'll give them a free mouth call.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Or like we'll do the giveaways. So like I'll do like first thing in the morning when I get to the show, I'll make a video and be like, "Hey, first person that comes shows me this video gets a free pot call."
Oh, nice.
Nice. Heck yeah.
So like they come storming the booth, like
that's smart.
Trying to get something. And so you meet a lot of people that way too. And just hearing how, you know, we get to hunt. Like I went hunting with a boy a couple weeks ago, and I met him at one of the shows. It was a good time. Now me and him are good buddies. It's all who you meet, man. The doors that it opens, you know, different companies that do the same thing, or like a company that we may work with in the future or something like that. It's really a good time.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. We kind of did our first. My dad used to go to a lot of the deer shows and turkey shows growing up, but like we went to that Delta Waterfowl Festival last year, and you know, East Coast.
That's Little Rock, ain't it?
It was last year. They're doing Baton Rouge this year.
I had somebody come and give me a banner on one of them. I thought about going to it, but that's a long ways from home.
It is, man. Especially for you out on. You're in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, northeast corner.
Yeah. So it was funny because you obviously know East Coast waterfowl, and I was sitting there at a table. Me and my dad were at this bar with a couple of our friends, and they're like, "Hey," because we were wearing an East Coast waterfowl hat. And they're like, "Hey, those guys right there are wearing East Coast waterfowl." And I turn around and I'm like, "Dude, that guy just looks just like Kent Jones." And it was his brother Seth. And
oh my God,
it was so funny, man. We ended up hanging out with those guys all night long, and him and Tyler. I don't know if you've met Tyler, but yeah, it was funny. It was a good time, and you just like you said, you never know who you're gonna meet, and
you should have told Seth. You should have told Seth about me. He'd have just started laughing.
I should have, man. Honestly.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, that's cool, man. But so let's hop into the turkey tour, man. You've been to freaking seems like every state in the southeast part of the United States, and now you're making it up to what, Virginia?
Yeah, well, so our goal was we usually try to hit 7 states. Well, we're so dang on busy now, but we started out in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We killed like 7 birds in 4 days.
Oh my God!
Osceolas?
No, we killed the first 2. We killed over the morning with Osceolas. We had them dead 10 minutes off the roost.
Nice.
And there was so we rode in there that morning. We rode by this pasture, and this boy's like, this is where the man lives right here that just gave us permission for that other field. And I was like, I look out the rear view mirror, and there's 3 strutting behind my truck.
What?
And I was like, yo, does he own that?
Right.
And so we got that permission. So I was like, we're going to hunt there in the morning. They're like, well, we're going to take 3 guns. We're going to kill a triple. We're going to kill a triple. I said, no, we're not going to kill a triple. I said, that bird's by himself. He's the older bird. He's the old bird, but them 2 young birds are beating him up. I was like, they are going to come in together, and he's going to do his own thing. So we get there, get set up that morning, birds are in there gobbling, bow, bow, and I'm getting them fired up, and they're getting closer. And all of a sudden I hear, doo. I said, uh-oh. The boy said, there's one right behind us. And I look over my shoulder, and the lone bird's 35 yards in my back pocket, just strutting.
Wow.
And I'm like, look, I was like, that bird's not going to make film. I was like, that bird's not going to make good film. These other 2 are coming. About the time I turned my head, the other 2 hit the pasture and was in a full sprint running to the decoys.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
So we pull up, and I said, all right, you ready? Talk to the other guy. We killed a double. Boom. I turn around and look, the turkey's still strutting in the woods behind me.
No.
I was like, just leave him alone. I was like, whatever. Went in his next property. He was like, had a turkey in here a couple of days ago. Seen a hen on camera or whatever. I went in there, called a couple of times, and I got a hen fired up. Me and her were talking back and forth. The dude said, he said, y'all were having a dang on argument. He said, I don't know what y'all were saying to each other, but y'all were talking to each other. So we were talking back and forth. And I was like, look, man, I was like, that Tom's close. I was like, we just kind of had to get in his wheelhouse and get him to gobble. I walked another 30 yards and cut down on it. He just hammers 50 yards from it. I said, we got to sit down. So we get down, and we got them kick. We're sponsored by Tywee, and they sent me the kickstand vest.
I've seen those. Those are sweet.
There were no trees. We just threw the cushions, kicked the stands out, and sat on the side of the path, and I put the decoy up, and he was working into the path, back and forth, gobbling. I was gobbling at him. He was gobbling at me. We were back and forth. He finally broke and come in there, and the kid killed him. Boom. I said, all right, that's fine. Well, we had rode around. My buddy was supposed to go with me out of Virginia, John Collin, and he's like, he was like, well, he seen we started smashing. So he went and bought a plane ticket.
Oh, my gosh.
So that night, I had to go to Jacksonville, Florida, and pick him up from the airport.
Oh, my.
And he's like, dude, we're about to get fired up. I'm like, dude, I'm tired, man. I said, I just drove all the way down here, pulled an all-nighter, and I pulled up that morning when I got there, and the boys were standing, like, right beside the house. They said, get out of the truck and listen. They owl hooting, like, 3 of them go down, bye, 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 roosting. I was like, oh, my goodness. So we get in there, we get situated, whatever, and I rode around this field that day before, and I know, I didn't see any turkeys, but I seen turkey tracks. So I was like, there's going to be some birds out here, I was like, maybe 1, 2 toms. We'll take 2 guns. Got in there. 8 of them started hammering.
Oh, my God.
My gosh.
I was like, oh, buddy, here we go. Well, I get them fired up, and the first 2 hit the field, and they're running to me. And I look behind them. 2 more come off the ground and hit the field. They're running. Then 2 more behind them hit the ground. They're running. So 6 of them's running to me.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, all right, boys, this is a Brussels sprout field with plastic in it.
Huh.
That's interesting.
They're walking up on top of the plastic full strut coming into the decoys.
That's crazy.
So I'm like, all right. I was like, all right, y'all both pick y'all one out. When I say shoot them, y'all shoot them. When they shoot them, I thought they were just going to drop 2 and be happy. It sounded like a full artillery line coming out of the woods, and I don't think they cut another feather.
Oh, they were all jacked up.
Oh, they were jacked up. I was like, yeah, that's a double. Boom, 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 boom. Turkeys was running everywhere, and they hit another one. So I was like, that's good. We went back, took pictures and everything, and them birds. Well, the next day, he was like, hey, I want to get my daughter on a turkey.
Mm-hmm.
So we ride around. The bird that was strutting behind me at 35 yards, I brought him right in the girl's lap. She shot him at 8 steps.
Wow.
Nice.
Boom.
Yeah.
She kept that one. Well, then, this is like a 4 or 5 day party in Florida. So like,
dude,
all the
you ain't lying.
all the locals come to the Airbnb every night, which is right. There's not really Airbnb. It's like a single wide trailer they got there that I'm good friends with the guy that owns it. So he lets us stay there, and they all live right there in the same area. So there'd be like 30 people there every night, and we'd cook. Like I took catfish fillets, we ate turkey, low country bull. It was just a good time.
Man.
So they were like, I want you to take the kids kept getting younger. So now I'm down to like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. And he's like, I want to kill a turkey. Well, I was like, all right. Well, we get in there and get set up, and this bird's gobbling. And I just had a gut feeling that he won't come in there. I said, I don't think this bird's going to come here. Well, he ended up going out into the backside into a clear cut. So we rode around the property. I ain't never seen the property. We walked in there at dark. He loaded down into a clear cut. And I said, all right. I said, let's go get a biscuit. I was like, let's go eat breakfast and come back. And I want you to take me to the backside of that food plot we hunted this morning on the other side of the swamp. I get back there and I see his foot tracks where he come down out the roost that morning. Mm-hmm. I tracked this bird for 2 miles through the mud where he walked down the edge of this clear cut.
Wow.
And I got to this corner and I said, he's in this clear cut right here. I said, you can see the dimples in his tracks. That's how close we're getting to him. And I peek around the corner and I see some hens. So I back up and I said, all right, y'all, let's creep up here. Look, and there's the tom. I mean, just drops, runs, full sprint all the way to me, and the kid just drills him.
Oh my gosh, man! So nobody missed a turkey.
We had one miss.
Oh well, shoot, that's still pretty dang good.
But that was good. So then we had to pack ship and go to Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey, real quick before you get on Mississippi, talk about how crazy of an environment it is hunting turkeys in Florida versus like some of these other states.
Oh my God, the stuff that these turkeys live in, dude, I don't even want to walk through.
Right.
I mean, the palmetto bushes and stuff, it's nasty stuff, and I don't know how they don't die from malaria with all the mosquitoes. I mean, it's horrible.
I know, right?
Mosquitoes and moccasins and diamondbacks and gators and all of it. Swamp turkeys.
Funny story about the bird we killed this morning. My girlfriend killed a bird this morning.
Oh, nice.
And so it was her first bird. I'm going to get back on the Mississippi topic, but I'm talking about mosquitoes.
Uh-huh.
So the bird gobbled a couple times on the roost, and I could not get him hot. I mean, he just would not get hot. So I was like, all right. Well, the last time he gobbled, he was like 150 yards in the edge of the woods, and I mean, these mosquitoes are tearing me up. So I just put my hands inside my shirt and I pulled my face mask up over my face and just leaned back and I like hear all of a sudden I heard so I reach up real quick and I pull my face mask down and the hen's walking into the decoys.
What?
So I reach down and I hit record on the camera and I look over my shoulder and here he come right behind her running right into the decoys. So I'm like staying on the turkey and I'm like shooting. And he finally gets up on the decoy, and I'm like, shoot him. And she smokes him.
That's
but
awesome.
But the mosquitoes were tearing me up.
Yeah, they got teeth on them down there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, with just a quick question I just thought about, with your turkey success, is one of the biggest things being able to roost them? Is that one of like your biggest things you see?
Well, I mean, we kill them. Well, like a lot of times we'll kill them in the roads. So we don't. A lot of times if you can't find a bird on a roost, you'll find one and we'll sneak around on him. But my all-time favorite is to kill him off the roost.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to get in there in his wheelhouse and get him hammering on the roost, and then you can hear his wings fly down to you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you can't see him, but you can hear him spitting and drumming.
That's gotta be cool.
Well, that's the last bird I killed. I tagged out on the other day. Got in there. That was the last place me and my best friend killed a turkey at before he died.
Mm-hmm.
I was on that road right there.
Wow.
Turkey pitched down. I heard his wings when he hit the woods, and it's some nasty stuff, and they're thick. And all of a sudden I heard, and he's like 20 yards, and I can't see him. And I hear him again, and he gobbles, and he's swinging me, and all of a sudden I just catch a black thing coming right up right to my shoulder, and I'm like, I told my boy with the camera, I was like, he's coming up this side right here, and I was like, I'm gonna have to shoot him. So I was like, just put the camera on me, or he's gonna peg us.
Mm-hmm.
And all I could see was his head through a hole, and I shot, and all I shoot's a 410.
Oh, okay.
So, and I'm like, did I get him? I'm looking. He just stone cold hammered him right there at 10 yards.
Wow. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I bet you go through some. You if anybody needs a turkey, you might have one, but a turkey shell company to work with would be you. Do you have a company you work with?
So right now we're trying to work with Verdict Ammunition some. So we're sponsored by Retro Fired Chokes.
Okay.
And so he does some shows too. I mean, that 410 choke he makes and my 12 gauge choke, I mean, they're just nasty.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like, look, dude, what's the best shell to put through this gun for this 410? He's like, Verdict. Well, Verdict was at the show too, so I went over to talk to him. So they gave me 2 boxes of shells. And, well, we shot them 2 boxes in Florida. Well, we shot them 2 boxes between youth season here in Florida. And, I mean, they shot, at 25 yards, they're shooting about a softball size pattern out of that 410.
Wow.
I shot the one bird in South Carolina this year, 52 yards with it.
Holy cow, dude. Do you do the red dot thing, or is it just
Yeah, I got a red dot on mine.
Nice.
Because with the kids, it's so much easier.
Right.
So, like, I can just be like, look, put the dot on him and just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can handle the rest.
Yeah.
So,
well, sweet.
well,
man.
so back to the Mississippi thing. We got to Mississippi, and we got caught up in the nastiest storm. I mean, just absolutely possible. The weather the whole time was crap.
Huh.
So finally struck a bird up. I mean, it took 2 days. Struck a bird up, had him gobbling. I said, all right. I was like, I worked here for 2 hours. I was like, look, this bird's going to break to us here in a minute. I was like, we just need to sit tight. Well, they wanted to go to him. And I got tired of listening. So I said, all right, we'll go to him. Well, I got a video of me talking to the camera while we're going to him. And I said, this bird just broke when I broke to him. And about that time, I turned the camera on. I heard him spitting and drumming at like 30 yards.
Have you ever heard somebody talk about turkeys drumming so much as this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you're up in personal with these guys.
Oh, we don't shoot them unless they're like 30 yards and closer.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Sounds like
So
it's 30 inches and closer.
Oh, yeah. I'm making like 15 yards is how I like mine.
Heck yeah.
So they come in, and they coming in the woods behind me, and the turkey heard them. Shut up. I was like, oh, my God. Weather was supposed to be terrible the next 2 days. I was like, all right, look, we got to go and get out in front of this storm in Alabama, or I had to hang it up, or we had to hunt nasty weather, and I was going to get caught in the same weather in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make an executive decision to go ahead and get out of there and try to get one good day of hunting in Bama before the storm hit me there, too, because I was already out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into Bama. We ended up getting in there. I finally got a bird struck up. He was coming down the side of this hill, and he popped his head up at 25 yards, and the kid couldn't get on him. Turkey peeled back out. Oh, God. We hunted. We really didn't find many more birds. I said, all right. I said, look, man. I was like, short-lived. I've already been gone from home 2 weeks. I said, I'm going to South Carolina. I was like, I'll come back. But I said, I got to get home. I got to go back to work.
Yeah.
So I peel out, and I go to South Carolina. And we get there the first morning, and another storm's hitting South Carolina.
Jeez, man.
In the outdoors, every detail counts. See sharper, aim clearer. From the river's edge to the heart of the flooded timber, Hook and Bullet has your vision covered. Hook and Bullet's purpose-built optics are flawlessly crafted to give you an edge regardless of your outdoor pursuit. Use code ZeroDuck30 for 15% off a pair of Hook and Bullet sunglasses today.
Pouring rain, winds blowing 40 mile an hour. We had to put ground blinds up to be able to film out of the first day. It was horrible. And the next day was horrible. Well, we finally got a break on the weather on the third day. And, I mean, because they're doing longleaf pines, so the pine trees are wide open on them. It's crazy. It's just crazy that turkeys can't even live in there because there's no water, there's no green, there's nothing. It's just pine trees and bare dirt under them.
Huh.
And peach trees. And, well, the 2 birds flew down on the knoll behind me out of these, you can see for like a mile through these pines. So I'm looking at them and they're like 500 yards strutting on top of this knoll through these big pines.
Mm-hmm.
And when they finally start breaking and working down this bottom toward us, and they come up the road down beside me, well, they come running up the road, and it's 2 times. But the first bird comes across my lap at like 5 yards, running across in front of me, and then I had to wait for the other bird to catch up to him. So I'm trying. You can hear me shaking on the camera with the mic. I'm trying to stay on this bird without him seeing me. So they get up on the decoys. So when we go to swing on them, so I mean, I'm just like, all right, you ready? Talking to the boy beside me. Well, we just kind of pick up slow. I say swing. We just try to pick up slow to get on them. Well, my bird takes off flying. Like, he never even ran. He just flew. And when I tried to shoot him flying, I forgot to turn my red dot on. So he's flying through the air, and I finally get my red dot on him. When his feet hit the ground, it's kind of all I can see is the top of his head, and I shoot, and he disappears. So I stand up, and he's out there flopping. I step it off. It was 52 yards.
Wow, dude!
I shot him with that 410.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
That thing is a unit. I mean, we've killed 18 this year. I've watched 18 die.
God, man. And so with the 410, what's the brand of it and all that?
It's a Stevenson 301.
Yeah.
That thing, hands down, that's the only thing I'll ever shoot. And I mean, it's good for the kids too, you know. You only get one shot, but you better make it count.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, like, my wife is getting into turkey hunting, and we've gone the last 2 weekends, and basically we've just been letting her use, like, different guns or whatever she likes, because she doesn't like my guns. It's too heavy for her. It's just a Benelli Nova. And I'm probably going to be getting her, like, probably a 20 gauge, or maybe even, after hearing you talk, maybe even a 410. But with the 410s, though, isn't it kind of hard to find shells or no?
No. I mean, on the Verdict web, for, like, turkey shot?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you just go right to the Verdict website and order it, and they'll have it at your house in, like, 2 days.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
And I'm shooting 9.5 shot out of it.
Wow. Okay. And what's normal for turkey shot? Like 6 or 7 or something?
Well, I mean, it all depends. Like, they're doing them mixed loads now. So this is like a mixed load. I think I got them in the back of the truck. This is a mixed load with, like, I think it's like 8s and 9s or something like that. And then it's called 9.5 shot.
I got you.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it says like close to like 400 pellets or something in it. I'm not sure.
Holy cow! Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that setup, because I feel like that'd be really good for her.
Oh, dude, it's good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet. I'm gonna knock on wood. I have yet to have a kid miss a bird with it this year.
That's good, man. Good luck.
I think it's done killed 8 or 9 this year.
Wow. So, so you left off on South Carolina. So you were in North Carolina just wasn't that your last stop?
That's where we're from. So we did our military kids hunt.
Nice.
So we brought in 11 military kids. 9 of them killed birds. 1 of them missed, and the other girl really didn't care much about shooting one.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely good time. So, like, I had a kid that didn't kill one on Saturday, so I took him Sunday morning before, like, first thing, and he killed his first bird.
Goodness.
And then, so like, that's our nonprofit organization. So we pay for the hotel, we give them a gun, we got with the whole shebang. So we feed them everything.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So everybody come in, had a good time. Well, then all the local kids want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a kid, I think just about every day of youth season except one day, and I think every kid killed a bird.
That's awesome.
God, man, you've had a blessed season, my friend.
Yep. And they have too.
Oh yeah, oh man, they loving it. I had this one kid, he's a little 9-year-old boy. It was just me and him. I couldn't film it. It was in the pen. It's the only turkey I haven't got on film this year. And he comes up in there, and the turkey, like, comes up to 50 yards and then turns around and goes back to 70, just gobbling right there at us. 50 yards, 70, 50 yards, 70. And I'm talking to him like, look, just take a deep breath. Well, this turkey does this for like 20 minutes right there in his face, and I know he's falling to pieces. He's full strut, back and forth, back and forth. Well, the turkey finally breaks and comes right in there to like 10 yards. And then I'm like, all right, go ahead, kill him. he just crumples him with that 410, and he just couldn't take it.
That's great, man.
That is so awesome.
I want to know how are you having time to edit all these videos? Are you gonna? Is that
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. Are you gonna sit down?
I got like 7 videos right now that need to be edited and dropped, and I have yet to have a time to sit down and do them.
Bro, you're gonna have turkey video. Like you.
I'm gonna pray for you.
Yeah, you got a lot of. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long it takes you to edit a video, but for me, it's probably an 8 to 15 hour project, depending on what it is. And
I really don't talk about it.
Yeah. So if it's anything like that, man, you got some work.
Yeah, that's and then the bad thing is though, I'm getting another video every day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making none, but I'm making more.
So you're burning through some SD cards probably too, huh?
Well, I just got one big external hard drive, so I'll just come in at nighttime like
Drop
dead
it.
tired, and I'll just go in there, drop it, and then go to bed.
Yep.
And then so like all the boys in Florida are like, "When's the video dropping? When's the video dropping? When's the video dropping?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" I told them this week, and this week's over with, so I gotta tighten up.
Oh
and
man.
Took my girlfriend first thing this morning. She killed that bird, and then I went. So I commercial fish, so I went out and worked on nets all day. Still, I got done at the fish house at like 6 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had the meeting at church. Well, I got done at the fish house at 6:30. We had the meeting at the church thing. I had to be there at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I got done with that, and then I'm on the phone with John, and then I got a boy coming in the morning to pick me up at 5 o'clock to take me to one of his farms.
Oh, yeah, you might want to freaking save some of them for next year when the algorithm's starting to peak again.
So this is the crazy thing is I had like 5 to make for the beginning of the season this year from last year.
Uh-huh.
Well, my girlfriend didn't tell me she put my hard drive in the backpack. Well, I picked the backpack up off the camera and slung my hard drive in the floor.
Oh.
Lost all of it.
Oh no.
No.
Lost Wisconsin. Lost all the states I went to last year. Lost it all.
Man,
all my duck
dude.
film, everything.
Dude, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's like every person that does videos worst nightmare.
Dude,
right
everybody's got a story. Like I got one like that too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just an incredible weekend of duck hunting and lost it all.
Oh, dude, it makes you want to cry.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Yeah.
And the thing that sucks too is like, some of the stuff is like, it's like, oh, that's a cool hunt, but some of the stuff that's like memories, like I got stuff on our hard drives from like going way, from the very beginning of when we did anything, and it's like I'm always like, shoot, man, I don't have any other place to store this besides this and like Dropbox, and if something happens,
Yeah. Yep.
Well, then somehow it's my fault. She's like, well, you shouldn't have left it on the kitchen table.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm like, come on, man.
Oh, of course, man. But so you did the North Carolina, and then what? You got Virginia? Is that the end of it, or?
No, we'll go. So I was supposed to go to Oklahoma. I don't think I'm gonna go to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to Virginia because some of the boys on my team live in Virginia. So, and then I'll go with some other boys I go up there with every year. We killed 4 in one day up there with them last year.
Nice.
So I'll go up there with them, go hunt their farm, and then my other buddy lives like almost right on the Mason-Dixon line. So I'll go up there and hunt with him. And then we're supposed to go to Illinois for like the closer.
Mm-hmm.
But so many things up in there, and then the boys want me to come to Georgia. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to tell you where I'm gonna go or where I'm gonna be. It's gonna be like
It's like a pinball.
yeah, just last minute. But I try not to hype it up no more. Like I used to like hype it up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to this state, going to this state. Well, then it might not be because the turkeys aren't there. It might just be because the weather's crap.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that, and it don't go picture perfect like somebody on the phone tells you it's going to.
Right.
You know what? Let me interrupt you for a minute. So, question for you: What kind of weather is your like? You know how we always talk about bluebird days, with duck hunting. What's your kind of like your breakdown on like this is my ideal weather when I'm turkey hunting, or is there one?
All right, so I hate the wind.
Okay.
The wind is no bueno, and the wind has not quit blowing here for 2 months now. I mean, just blowing. We had a dude. Oh, I gotta cut you off on that. I gotta tell you the story.
No, roll with it, brother.
So I took this kid. He's like, all right. He killed a turkey with me last year, and his dad was with me, and he was like, look, turkey's been in this field. So we creeped up to the field, looked out there, turkey went in the field like 7:00. So he was like, I said, well, let's go around and park on the backside of this field on this road and just wait. So we park on the backside of the road, and I'm just kind of like, he's just sitting there with the truck off and kind of like looking at my phone. The wind's blowing like 30 mile an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like looking at my phone, and I look up, and the turkey's standing in the road with us. I'm like, dude, turn your headlights off, put the truck in reverse, back up around the curve now. So he throws the truck in reverse, backs up around the curve. So we get out to get the kid out. We take off running up there. I call, he quadruple gobbles. Bah, 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 bah.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's coming. So I'm like, dude, you got to move the truck again. I was like, you got to get it out of this road. You got to go. You got to get it out. So his dad's running down the road as hard as he can. And he moves the truck around the curve, and the turkey's just gobbling coming. He's gobbling coming. And the kid's like, I see him. And I'm like, I see him too. I was like, why is he running? And he's running right to us. And I'm like, all right, kill him. He smokes him with the 410. He just crumples it. And I turn around and look, and his dad is hunched down in the middle of the path with a video camera. The turkey thought he was another turkey and was running to him.
Ah, yeah, dude. Yeah, I can totally, you could see that.
Yeah.
He was like 300 yards behind me. And I was like, why is this turkey running? And I turn around and look, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, kill him.
Well, that worked out good on accident.
Mm-hmm.
It was organized chaos.
Man.
Dude, that's the great thing about hunt, man, is it's like the more time you spend out there, you can't ever predict how stuff's gonna happen.
No.
You know?
So this is how I look at it with weather. So like when the wind's blowing, like I've looked at turkeys 250, 300 yards, and they can hear me call to them, and I'll be watching them with the binoculars, and you'll see his head go down. He'll gobble, but you cannot hear it.
Wow.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, when you're going in to strike birds up, I mean, this is just my theory, you know, and somebody else might call me stupid. But I don't think, really and truthfully, anything over 250 yards in my part of the country, you can hear him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's a dead calm day, because some of our stuff's nasty, thick stuff. I mean, I don't think you're hearing a bird much over 350 yards unless you're in the mountains and he's on a mountain across from you or something like that. But I don't think, like, it's hard for you to really peg a bird because he could be turned the other way and gobble at you or anything like that, and he could gobble that one time you called to strike him up and you don't hear him and you keep going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I hate the wind. And that's probably about it because, like, other weather conditions, is so, like, say it's hot and sunny outside, you can go kill him in the woods. Well, later in the evenings, first thing in the mornings, they're in the fields, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or midday they're hitting roads. I mean, there's just so many different ways to kill them when the weather is right. And then, you know, I love hunting mist and rain because they love to hit the fields in mist and rain.
Really? Okay.
All those bugs and stuff.
Or after a big downpour,
Worms.
like the bottom just falls out for 30 minutes and then just cuts off, you better cock your hammer because turkeys is coming out.
Well, I think there's so many earthworms that come to the surface.
That's right.
I mean, I bet you they just pluck them. I never thought about it, but really, I mean, you see it in your own yard. When it rains.
Yeah, when the worms and stuff start coming up out the ground, it's just like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for real. And I guess larvae and stuff like that do too, you know, or they drown, you know, so that's wild.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like turkey hunting in is the wind.
I got you. All right. I
So
was just curious.
I got to take the guy turkey hunting this weekend that his phone alarm went off the whole time the turkey was coming in.
Yeah, I remember you saying that on the
I
I
podcast.
got to see him tomorrow. Well, I took him last year, and we killed 3 in one day with them last year.
Oh my gosh.
Holy
So,
cow.
but it's hilarious. He calls me fired up. He's like, look, dude, I when I'm calling to him, he said, I think I'm telling him to run away. Because I don't know what you're saying to him, but it's not what I'm saying to him.
That's funny, man. Hey, here's another question for you. So, we were hunting in Alabama last weekend, and these birds like weren't, they wouldn't call, like if we called or like did a crow call, owl call, try to strike them up, like no matter what we did, like they wouldn't really respond to us. But then like a side by side drove by somewhere and then it gobbled. Like, have you ever had birds that like won't respond to you, and what do you do to try to hunt those birds?
And that's kind of what that bird did this morning. I went in there. Most of the time when they gobble their first time on the roost, I kind of like, if I know a general area where one is, I'll let him do it on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time when you can get that bird pistol hot, I mean, sometimes you can get him to do it on the ground. You can get him hot and keep him hot. But like this time of the year, they got hens with them.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing when you're trying to beat him off the roost, you're trying to beat his hen. So if you got a 50-50 shot there,
mm-hmm.
because it's reverse psychology. Because a hen's supposed to go to the gobbler. That's why he gobbles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to reverse it and call the gobbler into you.
Mm.
So that's why a lot of times birds lock up, because they're like, hey, you're supposed to be coming to me. I'm not supposed to be going to you.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't know that. That's, yeah.
So that's why you ever see a turkey in the field by itself just gobbling. He's telling all the hens like, hey, I'm out here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can come to me. So like this time of the year when they get henned up, they don't have the gobble. They got everything they need right there, unless you can see them in a field. But if they're in the woods, if you can't strike him, then you know what I'm saying.
You're in tough.
So basically,
chance there.
That bird this morning, I got him to gobble like 3 times on the roost.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and he hit the ground. When the next time he gobbled, he was like 150 yards from me, but he gobbled to a woodpecker. He would never gobble to me calling to him again, but he gobbled to a woodpecker. And then right after the woodpecker hit down, I cut real hard, and he gobbled, but it sounded like he was 400 yards away because he had turned around.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, let's just sit here and wait. Well, basically
It's in the teens that morning, and maybe you're chasing ducks or geese. But now it's September, and it's 85 degrees, and you're hunting early teal or geese. As a waterfowler, you need dependable weather protection that will not break the bank. Founded in 1996, Frog Togs is not only the leader in breathable wader technology, but a company you can depend on to keep you warm and dry, head to toe, no matter your hunting environment. Stay bone dry by using discount code ZD315 for 15% off not only your first purchase, like most discount codes, but how about every single purchase you make from now until December 31st, 2024?
I had done is I had called his hen in. So a lot of times I try to call their hens in before I try to call a tom in. So if you could ever get his hens to come, he's coming. So his hen come out first and come into decoys, and you hung him up after that because he was coming right behind her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once she was mad, like she come in there ready to fight the decoy, and he was like, "Yeah, baby, you got her. I'm gonna get him." We're fly or die around here.
That's great.
That's awesome, man. Well, enough of the turkey stuff. How'd y'all do? How was your duck season, man?
And we had so it started off. It was all right. Like out the gate, it was okay. And then so I hunted some around the house out the gate. Usually I go out of state for 1 week every year, go to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this year we were planning on going. The boys asked me to go to Kansas with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I hunted Kansas and Oklahoma in 2 weeks. I was out there. So we got out there in Kansas, and we freelanced in Kansas. Now, you talk about some work. That sucked.
I bet, man. Probably a lot of no's, huh?
We were running 3 trucks out there. So we finally found a feed. The first that day we were scouting, we found a feed the last afternoon at like dusk. And they were dumping. I mean, it was a decent feed. Got out there, got set up. I think we shot like 35 mallards out of that field, some pintails, and we shot a blue-winged teal out there.
Oh, that's cool.
In a dry field.
Wow, you don't see that very often.
It come flying right across the top of the corn stalks like a dove.
That's wild
And,
hunting out of a dry field too.
Yeah.
And so we had a good shoot there. Well, then after we got done there, it was back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
So we started hunting some ponds, and then like every dry feed we tried to get permission on, it was like, so we found this one dry feed, and I'm no joke, had like 15,000 big ducks in it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they were just tornadoing down in this field. So we called the guy. He's like, look, I leased a farm to some deer hunters. Like, here's their number. Well, they got a guide service, whatever. So call them, like, hey, look, got a field over here. He's like, well, you need to book a hunt with us. We don't do waterfowl hunts, but you can book one with us. All right, whatever. So we basically told him to screw off.
Yeah.
Well, later that night, he called back and said, y'all are the boys from North Carolina. Are y'all the same people from North Carolina that I just gave permission to? So he done gave somebody else permission to hunt in the field after we done asked for it, and then called us and told us that.
What?
What in the hell?
Oh, dude, the boys were hot.
I bet.
Man.
So
That's messed
we
up.
ended up we scrapped out, like, we shot our limit here, there, and everywhere in some ponds and stuff. It wasn't excellent duck hunting. The birds were stale. I mean, they were stale. They didn't like the decoys. They didn't like the calls. I mean, it was bad. Like, we found this slough. It had like 300 mallards on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, a little slough. I mean, like the size of 2 trucks.
Mm.
And they were walking on the bank, feeding around. There was like another slough up the side of it that they were feeding around in, walking back and forth. Well, we sat there and watched them that night, and I was like, look, dude, they've been here all day. I was like, I wouldn't put money on it. They're not going to roost here. I was like, they're going to go somewhere else. Well, sure enough, every one of them hunkers down right there for the night.
What?
So we get back, we sneak around their roost. As we sat there and watched them stay there. So we snuck around their roost and got set up on the small pond. So I said, well, look, I said, 10 minutes before shooting light, 5 minutes before shooting light, one of us needs to go bust them up. So that way we don't shoot up and bust all of them with gunshots. You just kind of ease by through the bushes and they won't know what you are. They'll ease back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he busts them all up and they're kind of flying all around, whatever. Well, we shot a couple mallards, shot a pintail. Didn't see 30 ducks come back.
What?
They never come back. Went and looked at it the next day, they didn't come back.
What in the world? Yeah, that just goes to show you they've been pressured, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, oh no, I mean, like, they'll see decoys or calling, they're going the other way. They were still birds. So, I was ready for Oklahoma. So I had to get a ride. We were staying in some haunted Airbnb. I mean, I put everything I love on that place. So, like, the boys are supposed to be there an extra day, right? They're like, no, we're leaving tonight.
I want to hear the haunted story, please.
Like, it was like, yeah, it was like, I was like, yeah, boys, are we hunting in the morning? And they were like, nah, I think we're going to leave in the morning. I was like, nah, man, y'all can't leave me here by myself, dude. I was like, it started out with like 15 of us, and now it's down to me. And I'm like, look, dude, y'all can't leave me here by myself. I was like, I'm in the middle of Kansas, dude. You can't see another house for miles, and it's a house on top of a ridge. It's something you see like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's bad. And the boys was already talking about they're hearing stuff in the house.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm in here sitting on this couch, Brian. I'm fighting this sleep. I'm tired, man, and I'm like, all right, boys, y'all headed out? They're like, yeah. I was like, God. So they get in. It's kind of like Olive Alista. I have no vehicle, and they're just driving away. I'm in this house by myself, watching TV. Well, my ride don't get there still like lunchtime. So I had to fight the ghost till lunchtime.
So you just never went to sleep, huh?
No, I stuck it out. They gonna have to kill. I'm gonna put on a fighting chance. They ain't getting me while I'm sleeping. that ain't how that's gonna go. So we got done. So they picked me up. They took me to Oklahoma. I got to Oklahoma at like 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah. I walked in the house. Like, this is like my second family down there. That's the old lady, and then her son don't live there. He lives up in the mountains, but he comes down. Oh, I say her son. He's like 60 something. That's my good buddy. He's a trip. So he comes down and he's like, y'all hunting the pond over there in the morning by the house? Well, yeah, I'll go over and hunt that pond in the morning. Well, my boys roll up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I get like a couple hours of sleep and I'm up. The boys are out there. I mean, they're just fired up in the yard. I'm like, dude, y'all just drove 20 hours and y'all are going to be this fired up.
Duck hunters are a different breed, man.
Oh, yeah.
We get out there. And, well, see, the craziest thing was one of them had never been duck hunting before. So it was his first go. So we get out there and we get the decoy set up and we get the A-frame brushed in. And I know where all the ponds and stuff are. I know where the birds are. And everything brushed up. And we're sitting there and it's like 10 minutes before shooting light. And, you know, we all got that one buddy. He's like, God, man, we did this last year. We're not doing it again. He's like, we got to kill him. We got to kill him. I was like, look, dude, I don't mind 5 minutes, but we're not shooting 10 or 15 minutes early. and these canvasbacks and mallards are just pouring in.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. I was like 3 minutes, I was like, all right, let's start shooting. And then they just melted them. Gun barrels was melting, ducks were falling, canvasbacks. We had like 4 packs of cans just flying into the decoys. They were shooting
No way.
cans. And then so we had like one short of our limit for canvasbacks.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, my buddy, he has never killed one before. So the canvasback flies in there and lands in the decoys. I mean, a stud drake. And I'm like, hey, yo, there's a drake canvasback sitting in the decoys right there. You might want to kill him. I was like, you need to go ahead and kill him. Well, the bird goes to get up out of there, and I shoot and kill him. And then I was like, look, dude, I was like, when you got to go, you got to go. Like, you got to kill him.
Yep.
We killed our limit out of that pond that morning. We hunted it another morning, killed our limit out of it another morning. I think we ended in Oklahoma with like 150 something.
That's awesome, man.
We shot an 8-man one morning.
That's
But
incredible.
yeah, I got some of the local boys got up with me that were kind of like by the Arkansas line. And we drove over like 45 minutes and hunted with them. And we shot an 8-man with them one morning, and then they come hunting with us. We shot like another 4-man, 5-man. So it was a good time.
Yeah, man. It sounds like some pretty good hunting.
Well, then we get back home, and sure enough, the divers have shown up. And that's my favorite thing to hunt out of the boat. I love hunting divers out of the boat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the weather was just too pretty. I mean, I was sitting out here watching with binoculars, and there'd be like 15, 20,000 birds in a raft. And they'd never budge. They wouldn't get up all day. They just sit out there and swim.
There's nothing pushing them.
No wind, no nothing. It was just dead slick. I said, but it was cold, and a warm spell was coming. I said, y'all are done when this warm spell hits. I said, it's going to be foggy. Well, the warm spell hit and the fog rolled in, and we're sitting there. And you can't shoot but 2 a person. So, I mean, it's, you know, you just shoot a couple times over with.
Right.
But it's working the big flock. So you can hear them coming. Sounds like B-2 missiles. And you can't see them because of the fog.
Yeah.
And we're like 2 miles offshore from the land, like out there in the middle hunting out a scissor rig.
That's got to be creepy.
And all of a sudden, you just see them cut across the bow, all 60 of them. And they disappear in the fog. And all of a sudden, I said, all right, boys, get ready. They coming back. And about that time, you look up, and they just, all 60 of them be cupped up, breaking the fog, coming into the decoys.
No way. That's got to be awesome.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun shooting them divers. And then I built a big 16-footer blind this year right on the coast. And we shot a bunch of redheads and shovelers and stuff out of that blind this year. That was a good time.
Heck yeah.
Black ducks, a little bit of everything.
That's awesome, man. And did you you were doing something by your house, weren't you, with a like impoundment or something?
So I got an impoundment in the backyard, and that one does pretty good. We just sold a couple of our impoundments, and then I got another impoundment, a flooded timber tract that it ain't holding no water. I got to figure out why. I think it's kind of a soil I built it on.
Yeah.
Then think about it. It's got peat moss, so like the first 2 foot's peat moss.
Mm.
So what it's doing is I built my dikes on top of the peat moss.
Mm-hmm.
So it's leaking out under my dikes through the peat moss.
Mm.
I gotcha.
So I got to go in and dig down 2 foot all, because I'm hitting water at like 2 foot down.
Wow.
And so all I got to
Just
do
a
is go in and
bog.
lay. Yeah, I just got to go down and lay plastic down in it, and it should hold. I hope. I mean, It probably won't, knowing my luck. But we'll try.
Yep, you have to hire some beavers.
That's right. Well, yeah, the beavers were laughing at me probably. Well, that's the reason I built it in there, because years ago the beavers had the whole place in there dammed up. I mean, just beautiful, held water beautiful. Well, see, if you think about it, the difference in what I was doing and what the beavers were doing, the beavers were backing water up, so everything had to flood. I was trying to put water in one spot.
True.
Yeah.
So like, it didn't have nowhere to seep out to when they built it.
Right.
Mine was seeping back out.
Wow.
It took me a while to figure that out, but once I figured it out, I got the plastic and everything to do with it, but I kind of buried the excavator in there, so I kind of quit for a while.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I got a tractor just to get that out.
Oh man.
Yeah, I called my buddy Wade, and I'm like, dude, I'm in a bind. I said, it's not good. He's like, man, you just got to walk that thing out of there.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm trying to tell you, there's no walking this thing out of here. I said, every time I move, I sink another foot. He's like, no, I'll come down there and show you how to do it. He comes down there, about the third turn, he's like, you're done, dude. He's like, you're done. I was like, I told you that before you kept moving it.
Oh man. I know what that kind of stuff feels like.
It's not a good feeling.
It's not.
That's an all day event.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time, well, my dad had first gotten, or he had gotten a new truck. Like this was
Can I
probably
tell the story?
10
real quick?
years ago. Yeah, tell the story.
All right, so my first like brand new lifted truck. Right, I get a 2014 F-150, and I put all this, Rockstar wheels on it and all this. I mean, some Mickey Thompsons, everything. I decked this thing out. She says to me, babe, promise me that you won't take this four-wheeler. And I said, I promise. So we go out in the country in Florida, and it's all swamp out there. And my buddy goes, this is after festivities, I will say. Festivities were going on all day long. Then somebody came up with the idea was, hey man, let's go four-wheeling. And it might have been me.
I got this lease back here.
So my buddy says, oh, I got this lease back here, dude. We got like 200 acres. And I'm like, let's go. So I don't even think twice about it. Just go over there. And we hit it, man. I mean, he goes, it's pretty deep through there. He goes, you got to hit it. And I was like, so I remember seeing the speedometer hitting over 50. And we were, parting, dude, it looked like Moses parting Red Sea. I ain't kidding. It was just like, whoa. And then next thing you know, we're done. Done. All the way to the headlights. Done. And so long story short, the next day, thank you, dear, for staying with me.
Yeah.
She wanted to kill me. Yes, she did. And we did go to church and pray about it. And I hired a 4-wheel drive tow truck. They came and laughed at me.
Yeah.
He goes, where's that? I said, around the corner back there. And he went walking there with his knee-high boots. And he comes back and he goes, how in the hell did you get it way back in there? I go, it's going about 50. And he's like, oh my God. So he calls his buddy Frank. No kidding. Hey, Frank, get over here and take a look at this. He comes over with his backhoe.
No, you had another truck.
Yeah. So then it's a 6-wheeler.
Yeah, like a
big,
truck.
like the ones that like tow like diesels and stuff. A big giant sucker comes in. He comes up in there and he's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Ain't going back there. And so then he goes, let me call Frank. Just like old boy stuff. He's like, hey, Frank, this guy's in a lot of trouble over here. He goes, what can we do? And long story short, they had to bring 2 backhoes. And they had to, because it was so suctioned in there, into that swampy mud and gook, dude. He had to get like one side and lift it by the front tow hooks to get the suction out while the other one was pulling back on it. Dude, and they had to do it like in unison. It was crazy. But yeah, I'm lucky to be here. Number one, that my wife didn't put a hit on me because I deserved it.
So in Florida, we're like staying around the edge of this big forest. And so the boys would be in the forest scouting for turkeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the boys got stuck. Well, they're like, all right, well, we'll take 2 trucks and we'll get him out. We'll be back. Well, needless to say, them 2 trucks got stuck too.
Oh, no.
So we're all sitting out there talking, and like I said, we're all staying in this neighborhood with all these people.
Do you want coffee that doesn't suck? Get the Duck. Dirty Duck coffee is made specifically for the waterfowl enthusiast. Enjoy flavors like Morning Wood, Dark Dynasty, Cinnamon Teal Snickerdoodle, and First Flight to unlock the flavor that you'll enjoy in the blind for years to come. Our friends at Dirty Duck Coffee Company are now offering all Zero Duck 30 followers a 15% discount when you use code ZeroDuck15 on your next order.
Well, I start looking around, and everybody's just slowly disappearing. And all of a sudden, I hear, whoa, 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 whoa. And I look, and here comes these monster trucks are coming out behind people's houses.
What?
And they got these big, jacked up mud eaters on them. And, I mean, they're loading up. I mean, you think we're going to go to, like, war or something. I mean, we got, like, 10 trucks going in there to get them. And I don't know, half of them didn't even have no business coming.
Oh, my God.
So I get in there, and I'm like, it can't really be that bad. I get in there, and the first truck's buried. I mean, bad. And other trucks halfway in the ditch and halfway out of it. He's like, I tried to go around him, but it didn't work. And, like, his headlights are under the water.
Oh,
So
my gosh.
So he gets around him, and, I mean, the first time he snatches him, I mean, he gives it to her. I mean, it ain't no pull tight and give it to her. I mean, when he snatched, his truck slid 20 feet to the side.
Oh, my gosh.
Boom. The truck never moved.
Oh my gosh.
Never moved. He had to pull him through the ditch forward and back out of it.
My gosh.
What a
But
nightmare.
Terrible.
Oh, dude, no, it was a good time.
Those always end up making the best stories.
They're like, dude, like, if that would have happened around the house, the boys would have been pissed because they done ruined their whole night. They're like, dude, this is every night. I'm like, 10-4. I don't care.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't care.
Dude, I could cut up with this guy all night long. So if we ever get around a campfire, we're not going to sleep.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're not. We're just going to be, it's going to be story after story. I want to tell you all about the great beef stew incident, but we don't have time for that tonight. So we'll save that for another podcast. But
I got a
man,
good one of them, too. I gave somebody pink eye one time.
Oh, man.
I love it. I love it.
Well, man, Jared, before we get off here, man, I know you freaking running on no sleep and stuff, and we got to hop off here, too. And
We want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah,
man.
and we got work in the morning, too. But I wanted to, before we get off, for people that haven't heard, kind of just like your mission of what you do with like getting these kids out with next Southern generation and stuff. I just thought that was real neat last time you talked about that, and just your view on things.
So basically, go ahead, what are you saying?
I was just gonna say, can you go into that?
Yeah, so basically, our goal is to get kids in the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we still like to get behind the gun and have a good time or whatever. But, nowadays, they can do all this stuff on video games. So a lot of times these kids are like, oh, man, yeah, I'm going to drop this thing. I've done this on my video game a bunch of times. And then they'll miss, and they'll be like, yo, that doesn't happen in my video games. I'm like, no crap, dude. This is real life.
Yeah.
So so like, just for instance, I had a little girl get up with me through TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted to kill her first deer. So I said, well, give my number to your dad, or his dad, whatever, vice versa. Well, we got in touch with each other. No, he emailed me and asked me if I could take her hunting. So I brought him in. I gave him somewhere to stay, housing for the weekend, whatever. I took her deer hunting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting in there, and the does start coming in the street. Well, that's a big doe and 2 little ones. I was like, all right, we're going to shoot the big one. So get her out the window. I was like, do you see him in the scope? She's like, yeah. Boom. Deer go running, and there's a deer dragging out the road. I was like, all right, you got one. Well, I get up there, and she's done shot a 20-pounder.
Oh, no.
And she broke its back legs. So it's crawling through the woods talking about, man.
Oh shoot!
I ain't had no knife, I ain't had no gun or nothing. So I took the rifle and I didn't think nothing about it. I just shot it right in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And just split it like a canoe.
Mm-hmm.
And I pick it up by his back legs like a turkey. And I walk out the woods. I was like, here's your deer. And I'm like, and just the look of her face, like, it was like, I wish I would have never done that little girl like that, man. I felt bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think nothing about it. The poor animal was suffering, dragging through the woods. I'm like, I just need to go ahead and put it out. And I just, boom, right with a 243 to the back of the head.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, when they're like that, there's no good way about it.
No.
When I've had that similar situation, I mean, I've had it tear me up because I'm like, dude, this is not, you want to make an ethical shot, but stuff happens. But anyway, continue.
Oh, yeah. So, and then, so, like, this year turkey hunting, it's hard. Like, a lot of times parents are iffy because they're like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This seems like too good to be true. And nowadays, I don't blame parents for being like that because this world's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of times, like, I'll talk to the parents and they'll know what I'm about or whatever, or they'll hear about me through another parent. And then, I get a lot of hate, too. So, like, I get a lot of local hate because they're like, oh, you're killing all these turkeys with kids that aren't local kids and kids that are a member of the hunting club or whatever. I get a lot of hate. And I'm like, man, I was like, if a grown man gets mad about a kid killing a turkey or deer or something like that, are you really a grown man?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I deal with a lot of hate. Like, every day is something new.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, I'm so dang on busy. So, like, most time when I leave the house in the morning, it's like between like 5:30, I'll leave the house, and I don't get home until dark.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll hunt first thing in the morning, then I'll go work on the river the rest of the day.
Right.
And so, but man, our goal is just to get as many kids in the outdoors as possible. And some of them, they're there because their parents want them to be there, and some because they want them to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them are there because they want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And me, the like, I'm looked up into my community, by the kids, and that was my goal. You know what I'm saying? To be able to have kids look up to me and want to do what I do.
Right.
So, like, I told y'all last time about the boys with the Tweety Bird Hunting Club. Remember that?
I don't know.
All right. So look, I got these. This is funny, and I can't give you all the details on the birds they be shooting, but so you know how it was when you were kids with a BB gun.
Yeah.
So I took them turkey hunting and filmed them and everything, right? They loved it. And it's the same little kid that shot the turkey with his dad sitting in the middle of the road.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, he come up to me, he's like, yeah, we got a Tweety Bird Hunting Club. I was like, oh yeah? I was like, well, what's your hunting club called? I was like, can I be a member of it? He's like, yeah, we're called Stroking Birds. And they're running through the woods with their iPads and their parents' iPhones, filming each other shooting these birds.
That's hilarious.
Dude, I want to send you the video of it. They got a whole edit of them just banging Tweety Birds.
Dude, no way.
It's hilarious.
And it's the sound, hey Vaughn. Remember that sound?
I don't know.
It's like, hey Vaughn. And they're just like, and it's just bouncing. They're like holding up dead birds. Dude, it's great. They got them like propped up. They got them like lined up on the pellet guns. Oh, dude,
no, bro. Yeah, I gotta see that. That is too funny.
Stroking birds.
Hey, that's the start of it, man. They're gonna be ate up forever if they're already like that.
That's right.
Oh man, they're a trip. And like, so first off, when you start taking the kids, they're quiet when they first get in the truck with you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, well, even if I've took them hunting multiple times, they start out quiet every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a kid the other day. Turkey come in 20 yards. He missed him. I was like, are you upset or anything? Everything good? He's like, yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry, man. It is what it is. I was like, all right. He's like 10 or something, 11, 12. He's somewhere in there. I was like, all right. He was like, yeah, because he knows me. He knows I'm not going to quit until we kill one.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, we'll get another one. We'll get another one. I was like, all right. I was like, well, how you like turkey hunting? He was like, well, you know, I like dove hunting more. I was like, well, 10-4. So look, the field he killed his first turkey in with me. He's killed a turkey with me for 3 years in a row. So the field he killed his first turkey in, we went in there and I struck 2 birds up.
Mm-hmm.
I run back to the truck and I grab him. I'm like, come on, let's go. So we're getting through the woods. We're sneaking up there, and we get up there and we sit down, and a snake crawls into the junk pile beside him, a black snake. And I'm like, the turkey's only gobbled one time. I couldn't get him to say another word, and I look up and 2 toms step in the field with a hen, and they're coming to us. I mean, they're coming to us on a line, and I look at him, and he's looking at the pile. He's looking at the pile beside him. He'll look up at the turkeys. He's looking at the pile beside him, and he'll look up at the turkeys. And he'll look down at the pile beside him, and the turkeys are getting closer. I'm like, dude, don't worry about that snake.
You're like, focus up.
I was like, the turkeys are coming, man. And I was like, he shot this turkey. And I'm like, dude, you can't tell me that wasn't better than dove hunting. He was like, yeah, that was a little better than dove hunting. then he continues. Now he wants to talk smack to me. Because I gave him my red dot, and he blamed it on my red dot. He was like, yeah, dude, that thing doesn't work. He was like, I needed my bead on my shotgun the whole time. I mean, that's why I killed that turkey.
Yeah,
so
okay.
That's 10-4, man, as long as you got him.
Oh, my God, man. That's awesome, bro. Well, man, thank you again for coming on the podcast,
Yeah, we appreciate it, bro.
And look forward to next time we get you on the podcast. And, you know, the rest of this turkey season, just keep smashing them. And
yeah, be safe.
Good luck with your...
Yeah, man. Y'all keep up with us.
Absolutely, man. And, yeah, good luck with your 900 hours of video editing you're going to have to do.
Come on, man. You have to bring that up.
We'll pray for you.
Yeah. All right, Jared. Well, thanks, man. Have a good one.
Y'all take it easy, man.
All
right, we'll do, bro.
Take care.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.